We've met so many people from past series, so it's always lovely to have you on the show. Let's start with you first of all, James, because born in South Africa, living in Berkshire now, with Asperger's, and you say there is no word in the English language that describes how much you want a girlfriend. So, really, you do want a girlfriend?
Very much so.
Very much, OK. So, what sort of lady are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for a girl who is friendly for a start, you know, who's a nice person, and, you know, a girl that I can actually have a conversation with about interests that we have in common, because you can't really, you know, have a long-term relationship with someone that you have nothing in common with.
Absolutely.
Well, some would argue otherwise, but I'm not one of those.
Well, you say that you're very much aware of the fact that your personality and the way you are, how that makes it difficult to have dates. So in the past, on the dates that you've had, where do you, because you also say, unlike a job interview, you can't go back and ask, you know, is there anything I could do better when it's come a date? But what have you managed to figure out? What do you think it is that's prevented you?
Well, primarily it's because I can't read people. I mean, one of the problems with Asperger's is not being able to read things like facial expressions, and I am very bad with that. So not only are you sitting there wondering what to say next, but you also can't tell when you are talking. You can't tell if they're actually interested in what you're saying. So that probably puts a lot of people off.
Your mum's very good for you, isn't she? Because she helps you with an awful lot of these things.
She is fantastic.
So what advice has she given you about the dating game?
Well, she's always advised me to think a bit, maybe try not to talk so much, maybe ask as many questions as I can.
That's always good.
Yeah, and she's always been giving me advice on how to dress. If I was dressing for my own dates, I would probably not have any second ones.
Well, it sort of went a bit wrong, didn't it, with Chloe in the programme, because I think your mum dressed you, got you ready, you know, sort of, this would be a nice thing to wear, these are good dating clothes. And I think, was Chloe not very impressed by that?
Well, actually, she seemed to... she and I had quite a lot of talking on the actual date, and I don't think it was actually, you know, major. It was quite funny.
Right.
OK, well, let's talk to Tammy, and welcome to... Now, 2 years ago, you had this illness that came out of nowhere, and it totally changed your life that day, because before then, you'd been on lots of dates, you'd been around that, never any sort of problems going up, talking to guys, guys approaching you, but now, 2 years later, suddenly that's changed a bit, and it's your confidence, really, that you're battling with more than anything.
Yeah, it did. It knocked my confidence hugely, because obviously one of the main changes is my face.
Yeah.
And although I don't think before I necessarily relied on my looks, it was never a barrier to meeting people, and I felt confident enough to go off and talk to people. Whereas now I think a lot of people struggle to get past the aesthetics.
Right.
And I'd think twice about going off and talking to somebody, because you don't know how they're going to react.
So what is it? Is it the fear of being rejected?
It is. It's the fear of being rejected. And I also find that I find it quite easy now, as time's gone on, to forget what I look like.
Yeah.
When somebody has a negative reaction to how I look, or somebody stares at me, you see them do a double take, it reminds me what happened. And they're all things that I don't want to think about.
And I suppose things like dating apps and dating websites, the front page to your life, your personality, your heart and your soul is always going to be your face.
Yeah, and so many now are based on the first thing you see is a picture. And you decide from that picture whether you want to know more about somebody or not. And I feel most people seeing my picture wouldn't think, well, I bet she's got a great personality. It'd be a no, because there's so many people out there looking for partners.
Yeah. We're in no way going to spoil the outcome of these dates, because that would well, that would annoy me as well, because I don't actually personally know. But Susanna was the lady you went out on the date with, I think, wasn't she? As far as I want to know, did it go okay?
Well, it was a fantastic location. It was just down beside a river.
Yeah.
And, yeah, conversation was good.
Okay.
And you'll have to wait and see.
I don't want to know anymore.
more.
The show, I have to finish, because there will be people that say the show has had its critics, saying that, I think it was the BMA said they were using people with disabilities as a source of comedy. I think that was one of their complaints. There have people who've said that in the past, and there have been critics. What do you say to them?
I would say, to be honest, I find it quite insulting that anybody would suggest that I've been exploited in any way. Just because I'm disfigured doesn't mean that I'm any more vulnerable. I'm not stupid. I put myself forward for the undateables. And throughout no point of the filming did I feel that it was being done for entertainment. Obviously, it's an entertaining show, but I just think it's done from the point of view of endearing. And I think it's just showing that no matter what you look like or who you are, we all just want to find somebody who loves us for us.
Do you agree, James?
Well, I actually think on a wider level it takes a lot of credit away from the people who watch it, because quite a lot of people, you know, do watch the show, and it actually provides a lot of education on a wide range of things, you know, not just, you know, conditions like Asperger's or Tourette's, but also, you know, what Tammy's got and things like that. And the fact that people will actually tune in and watch, knowing that they will learn a bit more, maybe take away a bit of the stigma, I think is a very positive, you know, it paints a very positive picture of British audiences.
Yeah.
Here, here.
No, I agree.
Well said.
I agree.